that I am here, and I am not here to sell the Indian Army. I will just give you a brief on what the Army is all about, or the Armed Forces is all about, and how I came here, and also that why we should respect the Armed Forces. Yes, everybody has a respect for the Armed Forces. Just put it on slideshow. Yeah. So this is a logo. I'll just go briefly. I'll not take much of your time. Oh, the next slide. I'll just talk about the Army way of living. The Army way of living, you all must be thinking, is only the canteen and the liquor. No. The Armed Forces is much, much, much beyond that, and it is a very honorable way of living. Here I am very proud to say we are 3 generations in the Armed Force. My father was in the Armed Forces, he was a doctor in the Army, and my younger son is also a major in the Army. He's posted in Manipur right now. So, because it is an honorable service, that is why we've been carrying on, and let's see what happens beyond with my grandchildren. Not yet anymore, but they will happen when time comes. So, why I am here? I am not here to sell the Army, like I said. I am here, like it was given in my introduction. I am here because I want to spend my second innings doing something worthwhile. And that is why I started this NGO. If anybody wants to volunteer, is most welcome. My number is there. My person has given you the cards. In any way possible, volunteering is one of the best. We are into teaching the underprivileged. And also my e-commerce site, which is there, is basically taking care of the artisans of West Bengal, because you all are in business, you would have seen the artisans who are doing handicrafts are very poor. So anyway, cutting short my entrepreneurship, we move on to what is the difference. Whenever we are in the forces, we call forces aa gaya hai, security forces. It is security forces where you have the paramilitary and the military. The military is the Navy, Army and the Air Force. The paramilitary, as you all know, is the others, the BSF, CRPF, ITP, they all are doing a very good job. And recently, everybody suddenly remembered the Army. Just play there. Yes. We had the Op Sindoor. That is when everybody started remembering the Army and did a very good job. कारगिल के बाद सब भूल गए थे. इस बार कारगिल दिवस बहुत अच्छी तरह मनाया गया because the Op Sindoor just happened, and yes, we did bash up the play. As you all know, we bashed up the Pakistanis nice and proper, though they claim that they won, but then things are right in front of you. This is what happened. Their terrorist camps and also their military establishments, when they started taking Panga, was bashed down. And they rushed to America. And Trump, as usual, again wanted to sell his country, because in a business life, he is more of a businessman than a president. But then we gave a good reply to Pahalgam. So I hope everybody is with me that yes, we bashed up Pakistan. Yes, nobody is saying that Pakistan bashed up. So here I would like to say, when everything loses out, who is there? Uttarkashi, we had a landslide 2 days back. Civil administration, everybody failed. Who was called in? Uttarakhand, when the tunnels got blocked and there were about 25 odd people stuck up, the army was called out, and also, yes, the rat people were there, they took out and made the hole. Even when a kid falls into a pipe hole. You remember the case in Haryana where Prince, a small little child, for about 20 days they could not take him out. Finally it was the army who took it out, the Corps of Engineers. And I'm proud to say my son is there in the Corps of Engineers. So just in a nutshell, what does the army do? This is not a youngster session or a student session which I take generally and ask questions. Here everybody is grown up and a proud and successful businessman. So the role of army is basically to defend the nation, defend the borders so that we are secure, and everybody of us, including me now because I am retired, I am still in the reserves, but we can have a very comfortable sleep, a secure sleep. That is what these men in uniform, I include the paramilitary also, they are guarding the borders and do not let any external aggression come in. There is something called the internal security which we are also taking care, like the counter-insurgencies in J&K and also in the northeast. You all must be reading in the news. Something keeps happening in Manipur, something keeps happening in Arunachal. So that is also, for that different kind of forces are being raised which are under the Ministry of Defense and the Ministry of Home. So seeing all this glorification, I plan to join, seeing my father in uniform, and at the age of 21, I was a commissioned officer. At that time we had a rank called the second lieutenant. Today that rank is abolished, it is history. We start off from lieutenant. Anyway, and also we are into disaster management. These are the flag marches. When the police fails, the army is called out to do flag marches, so that there is subdued show of force that yes, the civilians are safe, the rioters or whoever may be the anti-socials, they get the message clear that things are in control, and you people who are trying to disturb the peace of the society get the message. Army in the good role in Wayanad, in Karnataka, in Chennai, in Uttarakhand, J&K, everywhere these men in uniform. Today also, these band people who are playing are soldiers first and then bandsmen. If there is a war, they go to battle, they don't play the instruments. They also practice firing, and they also are taking part in various kind of other activities. Even when relief has to be sent to various countries, Turkey, they were the C-130s of the Air Force which went out and delivered tons of relief goods. So Turkey was not grateful to us. They were helping Pakistan in Sindoor, which is a very wrong thing, but then you can't help personal thoughts. These are the ops, sadbhavna activities which are being carried out in various places, especially in J&K, to get the population with the nation, so that we live as a country, and the people there, some of them, I will not say all, get the message that items or activities like Pahalgaon and whatever infiltrations do not happen. Then there are hospitals, schools and other activities. And I am proud to say that the Indian Armed Forces and also the police, we are the second largest armed forces or the security forces to give out peacekeeping operations. 290,000 people have been going out for UN missions all over the country. This is the list and it is unending. If I start talking on that, that will be a class by itself, which I do not want to. And then we have the strategic reserves, the territorial army, where you all also can join as commissioned officers and workforces, even the ladies. that is when the war comes in, you all can be active members or if required. And there must be a lot of youngsters who are part of the territorial army and they have to serve for a certain period in a year to keep up the commission. And this is the role like I was talking about, and the last tagline is there in red. That the armed forces will never fail you. You can't see it? You can. So, even after capturing one peak, Vikram Batra, Captain Vikram Batra, said Dil Mange More, and he went out to 405, which was another post during Kargil, and was martyred and got the Paramveer Chakra. So this is the junoon of every Fauji, that ye dil mange more. We don't stop at one goal, one aim. We want to keep advancing with technology because the core value is Naam, Nishan and Namak. Naam is the fame, not self-fame, but fame of the country. Namak is, you all know, loyalty, and Nishan is the culture, your inner self. So duty, honor and courage always comes first. That is why I think a lot of the corporates also want to hire retired officers, retired JCOs and other ranks, because they know that they will serve with loyalty to whatever establishment, organization that they are in. There are a lot of corporate houses which take service selection board failures. Failures, I will not say who have not qualified to the interview round, but then they have been tested because they are tested very cruelly. The testing by the SSB or the Service Selection Board has not still lowered its standard. That is why there is a deficiency of about 35,000 officers where everybody is not able to clear it. People think IS is the toughest exam which UPSC does. I would request people to please appear for the SSB and clear it. And if you clear it in one chance, you are numero uno. So, these are some of the ranks. Why I want to make the ranks clear to people? Because a rank is given when you are commissioned and it dies with you. I never become Mr. Shantonu Roy. I die as Colonel Shantonu Roy. Outside my house, it is still written Brigadier Sukumar Roy, my father. I don't write Mr. And I make it a point to correct people. If they, sometimes the Tata Sky people call out, sir, am I speaking to COL Cole Shantanu Roy? Sorry, I correct him because people need to know this. So that is very important. And also the ranks of the JCOs and other ranks, the Subedar. We know our ASI very nicely. We know our SI very nicely because he comes and takes. But these people don't do it. They do it for you and don't take anything. Every activity that they do in a humanitarian way is from the heart and as an order. Yesterday I was taking a lecture on leadership in MIT University. There are types of leadership like the autocratic, delegative, democratic. So some child asked, कि सर ऑटोक्रेटिक तो बहुत बुरा तरीका है. मैं कहा जब मरने के लिए आपको मैं मोटिवेट कर रहा हूँ मेरे जवानों को, इट हैज़ टू बी ऑटोक्रेटिक बिकॉज दे आर डिसिप्लिन. नहीं तो कोई भी मेरे पीछे नहीं जाएगा लड़ाई लड़ने, मैं अकेला ही पहुँचूंगा, पीछे से सब भाग जाएंगे. So the leadership has to be autocratic. That is why generally you will find a Fauji to be standing straight and generally saying yes. Only he stands up to say no when there is something wrong happening. But otherwise he doesn't disobey orders. These are the applets. Other people have copied it. Anyway, that is way. The arm army is divided into the infantry, armored and various other corps. The medical corps also is one of the elite corps, and we've got the best of doctors. Sometimes people say, nahi, wahan to treatment theek nahi hota, but no. And we have regiments in the infantry based on not religion or caste, but on regions, so that that bonhomie can be there to fight as one. You all must have seen that picture, Sam Manekshaw. In that there is a song which talks about the war cry of every infantry regiment. That is a very well made song, and it speaks, that is how that courage from inside comes when you talk about God and courage. Like Manekshaw had said, a chap who says he is not afraid or does not know fear is either a fool or a Gurkha. At one time Gurkhas were fearless. So at that time when you think of God, that line between being afraid and courage is broken, because your adrenaline rises and you are fighting for not yourself but the safety of your motherland. These are the 7 commands, nothing secret in this, everybody knows, in different places, north, west, south, east. Eastern is here. You all know the Fort William, which is quite famous, now renamed as the Vijay Durg. Then a brief, I'll run through the brief of our history, just in about 2 to 3 minutes. I hope not taking too much of your time. No. This should be interesting. So, we are the 4th largest army, a 12 lakh standing volunteer army. This is, we do not have conscription, that everybody has to have 3 years in the armed forces. It is by volunteer. किसी ने invite नहीं किया, अपने मर्जी से हम लोग आए हैं, and we are standing for our nation as a volunteer army. It is a 12 lakh, the largest after US, China and Russia, and one of the most technologically advanced army also. Our main enemies, everybody knows, our dear friend Pakistan and yes, China. Though we had a debacle in 62, but today, if these people try anything, rest assured you will be safe. These are some of the wars, pre-independence when it was British Army. In the world wars, we had our soldiers fighting for the British Indian Army. That is when the armed forces or the army was coming in. The Air Force and Navy was not there. But then, in the Korean War, Iraq campaign in Afghanistan, again in Tibet, Afghanistan, you will have seen our British Indian Army people for Kesari 1. And then we had small little operations in Hyderabad, in Dadar, Goa, that areas, because the Portuguese, the people, they were not playing up, so they were executed by the Indian Army at that time at the behest of the Home Minister Vallabhbhai Patel. Sikkim. I'm just going through it because these are topics by themselves. Sri Lanka, yes, IPKF, it was again not a very successful mission, but then we could quench the LTT to quite an extent and we had to withdraw out. Maldives, yes, we have saved them n number of times. But then again, Moizu, everybody knows, became ungrateful, but now he has turned back to India because he has understood the Chinese game. India recently gave them a $4,826 line of credit to save them from the Chinese debt trap that they were getting into. With China, except in 62, we have given them an eye-to-eye fight, and also in Galwan, though it is not declared by the Chinese side, but as per int reports, we lost about 20 men, they lost about 55 of them. Though we lost a CO, but then we gave them a fight, because in that area you're not supposed to carry arms, and our chaps had to go unarmed because we are people, even Indians I'll say, we follow the book. But the Chinese stabbed us with behind because they had bought those cudgels. So, डंडों पे उन्होंने वो तार लपेट के लाए थे. That is how in that cold heights also we fought back. And then other places also, or in Arunachal, wherever they try to get in, they are getting a good one back, and that is how there may be debates in the parliament. Our friend Rahul Gandhi saying that 200 kilometer area humne chhod diya, not an inch has been given out to China. This is something I can give it in writing, and our Prime Minister will vouch for it, or I can vouch for what Modi ji says, that we have not given an inch to the Chinese. Parliamentary debates can keep happening. And Pakistan, nothing to say, 47, 48, 65, 71, Kargil, and now Sindoor. And this photo, why I have put it? This man here is General Niazi, and that is General Jagjit Singh Arora, the Army Commander of the Eastern Command at that point of time. And you all should feel proud after the World War II. This is the second biggest surrender of one standing army to the other. 93,000 Pakistanis surrendered to India. Their will was totally broken down, and you know, a new nation was born. Kargil, these are some pictures. They had taken up the icy heights, but our Japs gave a befitting reply. The Air Force and the Army, and those heights were taken back, and we have braves like Manoj Pandey, Satpal Yadav, Vikram Batra, and the list is endless. We will not talk about it here. And now, just for your knowledge, everybody must have heard about the Agniveers. This is a scheme which has been started, good or bad, we will not discuss. Everybody, the youngsters get to work for 3 years in the armed forces, that is the Air Force, Navy and Army. And initially there was a lot of debate, ये scheme ठीक नहीं है, 3 साल के बाद क्या होगा and all that stuff. But now that these boys have come in, boys or girls also, and they are working and they are proud. And the best part is 25% were to be made permanent. People are so good because they want to carry on. The strength is being increased to about 50% or 70% to be retained, so that the deficiency also can be made out and they can retain their jobs. And I can tell you one thing, even if the 30% that are left out or do not make the grade to become permanent are the best people that you all in the corporate houses can hire. I will not say that they are thrown out. That is because it is competition and they got left out because they did not make the requisite grade. But the grade which they are left out also is very high. So they will be good, disciplined, loyal soldiers who can work out wonders in your business houses. Finally, just play the video. I will finish with a little video clip again. There have been many cases of, we as a nation cannot safeguard the dignity of those who protect us. There there have been many cases that are happening.
The treatment of our armed forces personnel, specifically authorities. Now, take for instance the case of Paratrooper Abhimanyu Janna, a decorated soldier from India's elite Agnipath, has raised serious concerns over police brutality and judicial indifference. Despite multiple military and legal interventions, Paratrooper Abhimanyu remains incarcerated in Jamahandi following a series of events that highlight a dangerous trend of disregard for the rights, dignity of armed forces personnel. This incident, however, is not isolated. It's just not about Paratrooper Abhimanyu. It's also about Colonel Pushpinder Pal, the senior army officer who was assaulted by Patiala police. It's about the army major who was crushed inside a police station in Orissa. It's about those men and women in uniform who are being betrayed. It's about the price of courage.
This is one incident which has recently come to light. The SpiceJet case which has happened in Srinagar, where Colonel Ratish Kumar bashed up 4 people. Now the incident has taken a turn. You know, it was they who tried to fight with him due to whatever baggage or reasons were there. And in a place like Srinagar, where he is on duty, he had to go on an emergency leave. And this is what the army does for you. Despite some people disrespecting the men in uniform, it is not only the army, even the CRPF, BSF paramilitary, they are also being disrespected. But when it comes down to work, we don't think about these one-off incidents, and the armed forces there in full strength to help you out in any kind of eventuality without even thinking about our own personal safety. हमारे भी घर में बच्चे भी है, but we don't think of that. So at the end I will say that I am proud and I wish even my grandchild joins the army, and I request you all to stand up for the fallen soldier and give salute to him and a big Jai Hind to all the soldiers who have given their lives for our nation so that we could live peacefully. Thank you, Jai Hind.